What's up, guys? WWE Talk, Wrestling Talk, here to review the WWE's big pay per view Survivor Series featuring Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. People are still pissed. I'm looking around, people are like, this has to be the most bullshit match of all time. And then, of course, there are people who are like me, like, oh my god, and stuff like that. Like, we never seen this before. We will leave that for last. So let's just get into it anyway. We had first the women's elimination match, Team SmackDown's women versus Team Raw's women. Um, Before the match even started, when SmackDown coming with their entrances, Nikki Bella was shown to be knocked down backstage. Everybody's wondering who took her out. Who? Natalia ended up replacing her, and like, really. So Natalia, who was the coach of Team SmackDown, ended up being part of the SmackDown team, which is her hometown of Canada, not necessarily Toronto, but Canada, her country for sure. So back and forth. I'm glad they got Alicia Fox out of there. I'm glad they got Carmella. Well, I'm not necessarily Carmella because I feel like she's strong in some aspects. She's fierce, but thank God they got rid of Alicia Fox. Get her out. Um, Pretty good match. Very pretty good match. Very storytelling, especially Nia Jax, who looked completely strong in this game. But they ended up having her tap out to Becky Lynch. If iffy on that because a lot of people, wrestling fans, might say, was it really necessary to make her tap out? You could have made her um, take a 10 count or get disqualified, something like that. Who knows? It would end up being Bayley and Charlotte winning the match. Two survivors defeating Becky Lynch, who was the last one. Um, and it's funny enough. This is why Charlotte, in my opinion, is the best heel in the game right now. The best heel in the WWE right now. Because as soon as the hand was raised, pulled down, she looked to her left, she sees Bayley, and deliver an ass whooping on her. She's like, okay, it's over. I'm gonna whoop your ass now. Now it's my time. All right, the teams are off. I'm gonna kick your ass, and that's exactly what she did. She has no further use for you, and that was pretty much it. So a fantastic job for Charlotte. And then we had a segment with James Ellsworth, with a whole bunch of people, the club, um, Mick Foley, and then of course the Braun Strowman. If you watch Wiser, um, then we have the Intercontinental match between The Miz and Sami Zayn. Of course, Sami Zayn coming into his hometown of Canada. Um, a pretty good match, a very technical match, a very storytelling match. Miz targeting the leg. Pretty good match. The crowd was pretty decent on this one. It would end up being a whole bunch of cheats from The Miz. In terms of Maurice, ended up being The Miz winning, of course. Keeping the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown. If he had lost, it would have gone to Raw with Sami Zayn being on the Raw roster. So that is it. And then we have another segment of AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose. Pretty much throughout this entire time, it's pretty much building up to the TLC pay-per-view for SmackDown, which is coming up in 2 weeks. So there's going to be AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose in the TLC match. They're building that up. And then we have the 10 on 10 tag team matchup between Raw and SmackDown. I didn't know how it was gonna go down because I feel like that's so many people in there, and I'm glad they did so. They got rid of New Day immediately. They got rid of Fandango and Tyler Breeze immediately. They had some good spots. They made Gallison and Anderson, Gallows and Anderson, the club made them pretty damn strong. I think they got a couple eliminations, including on American Alpha. Of course, the club would end up getting eliminated. It would end up going down to Sheamus and Cesaro versus the Usos, and they put on a freaking show. I love that ending. I really love that ending. It would end up being Team Raw, Sheamus and Cesaro defeating the Usos, and they will get a title shot on Raw tomorrow, which is actually today. So pretty much it for that. Then we have the Cruiserweight Championship between Brian Kendrick versus Kalisto. It would end up being Brian Kendrick winning. Brian Kendrick owning this match pretty good. This is what I love about Brian Kendrick, and I hate the fans for this match. We'll get into after I say about Kendrick. Kendrick, he's an opportunist, just like the commentators said. He's very mind going. He just does mind games basically, all over the place, keeping Kalisto in check, taking his opportunities when he get it. He did some crazy ass move with his submission move, the captain's hook off the turnbuckle. A pretty good long hold on it. Kalisto sold it. It would end up being Brian Kendrick winning this match. It was a very good match, but the crowd was just like silent, dead, and I'm like, you guys just hate wrestling. All you wrestling fans, and I'm gonna get to that in a sec with Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, because this ties into what I'm talking about. Like, I understand WWE does some real dumb things on a consistent basis, but you guys just sour on everything that there is. You guys like to just showboat, and just like you guys want to make yourself feel good instead of trying to make everybody else feel good. Trying to make these guys, push them up better, give them a chance. You guys don't do that, and that's just sad. Oh, actually, this match ended up in disqualification thanks to Baron Corbin. Because if you guys don't know, on SmackDown there was an altercation between Kalisto and Corbin. Corbin was supposed to be in the Elimination Raw match, SmackDown match for the next one. Got eliminated by Kalisto. Corbin comes back, interferes, costing Kalisto the championship. So here is one of the two main events. The main event elimination match between Team Raw, Team SmackDown. Very good match. Very storytelling. Of course, they have the issues, the intensity. Teams not trusting each other. Teams arguing with each other, fighting with each other. We've seen so bunch of things. Owens getting himself disqualified. Chris Jericho being pushed through the moon by the crowd. Everybody loved him. Styles looking strong as hell. He looked like a leader. He really looked like a leader tonight. You had the Rollins. You had the Roman Reigns, who was booed the entire night. And then you had the Dean Ambrose, the Shield reunion thing, slamming AJ Styles through the table with a powerbomb, the triple powerbomb, and everybody went nuts. Of course, that just foreshadows that they're going to bring them together at some point in time. Probably not right now, but soon. You had the Braun Strowman who looked strong as hell doing work. He would end up getting eliminated by Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt and Shane McMahon, who also looked freakishly strong tonight. I think he took a mean bump with that spear from Roman Reigns when he jumped off the turnbuckle, took that spear, and like it looked very real. Hopefully he's all right. It would end up being Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton winning the match. Randy Orton selling the fact. He is selling the fact that he's a true Wyatt to the crowd, which is pretty good. You want to convince the fans that you are on the Wyatt side truly. When he pushed Bray Wyatt out the way so he can take the spear from Roman, and then of course Bray Wyatt capitalized with the Sister Abigail stuff and win the match for SmackDown. So Team SmackDown win the main event Survivor Series elimination match for SmackDown. Pretty damn good match for us. And then we had the main event, Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, which pretty much ended up being pushed by Goldberg, spear by Goldberg, spear again by Goldberg, and jackhammer by Goldberg. 1, 2, 3 on Brock Lesnar. And the people went ape shit. The internet went ape shit. I went ape shit. I'm like, what the fuck? And I know there's going to be a lot of people who are butthurt about this, especially the internet fans. But people need to understand something. Like, you guys have really soured everything that is the WWE. I know WWE does stupid stuff. But if there's something that you can go behind on, someone who could follow behind on, like, cheer Kevin Owens to the moon. Support Kevin Owens. Support Sami Zayn. Support Dolph Ziggler for crying out loud. Support AJ Styles, which they did in the audience. But you guys have to contribute. You have just do what you did with Daniel Bryan. Force their hand to push someone over. You guys are really hindering this crowd. I'll make a different video on this tomorrow for sure. So I'm gonna cut this off. I give this a definite 9 out of 10 because this was a fantastic game. Match. Pay-per-view overall. The Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar was something new because this Brock Lesnar was pushed to the moon. It was looking like no one can beat him. It was looking like, okay, he's going to win Goldberg. And then they did a 360 on your asses and pretty much blew your heads off with it, having Goldberg win. So that's pretty much it for me. Great pay-per-view for Survivor Series. That's all I can say. Let's check on Monday, see what happens. Peace.